I've had men approach me at work sometimes and I feel like they've made inappropriate comments, things like if I'm using a step ladder and they'll make comments like, do you need help getting down, or be careful, beautiful, and it just, I know that they're not comments that we make into my male colleagues, and it does feel a little bit like, you're only saying this to me because I'm a female, and I do find that quite inappropriate.
Even if they don't even like actually approach me, they'll always call out something. Even when you're like fully masked up wearing black, and the only thing they can see is your eyes, they'll be like, oh, where are you going? Say something. I usually ignore them. I don't try and like speak back or anything, because like even if I like flip them off or something, they could come back and try and make it worse. I just dash it real quick to the nearest bus stop, or if I happen to have like a friend that I see, I'll just quickly run to them and be like, let me just walk with you real quick.
One night I was coming home with, got a cab, we all went clubbing, all the girls went clubbing, and we got a taxi home, and we always stayed together. You never go home alone, you always stay together because you're stronger together. And then we all got in the cab, everybody else was dropped off first, and then I was dropped off. So I was in the front seat with the driver, and the driver reached over to the glove box and pulled out a packet of condoms and told me that he had something that he wanted to show me. Then I sort of like froze for a little while, and then we drove along, and I said that I lived here. He pulled up, I jumped out and ran home. I didn't want him to see where I lived. That's all men want, is sex.
Hearing about it or reading about it, it just made me feel sick, because it's discussing what happened, but it's at the same time it's not a surprise, because this kind of stuff happens to women all the time. But it just, yeah, it was very unsettling to read about.
But she didn't know what was going to happen to her. She thought she could trust him because he was a policeman.
I feel desperately sorry for her and for her family for what they've had to go through, you know? And I hope that he gets the maximum.
At this point, I don't even know if the police, like more police being on patrol, is any better, because again, she was killed by a policeman, wasn't it?
For a woman to walk down that road at 9 o'clock at night, she would not be taking any unnecessary risks whatsoever. And they are, you know, preying on vulnerable women. And then just to rub salt in the wounds, dragging women screaming away from a vigil to honour the dead woman's death. And the head of the police force might be a woman, but she's no sister of mine.
First of all, if your parents are strict, don't be mad about that. They're strict for a reason. Especially when you grow up, you'll come to realise even more.
You don't want to frighten young girls. You want them to be as free to wear what they like, to express themselves what they like. But you have to make them aware.
Just be aware of your surroundings and where you're walking, and find the safest way home. You're entitled to go out, you're entitled to have the best time ever, and you're entitled to get home in the middle of the night if you want to, but you're also entitled to do that safely.
Educate the men in your lives, tell them, call them out if they're making you uncomfortable, because you shouldn't have to put up with it.
If you feel passionately that women's rights are still under threat, which they almost certainly are, if you think women's safety is not being taken seriously, become an activist, join demonstrations, join support groups, protest groups, and make your feelings known. And of course it affects you.